they say not till a fat lady sung, she sung! Shut her up!
Kick the red, double move on the red.
Yo everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat is here and he's frustrated. Now, the frustration that I have to the Philadelphia Flyers doesn't go back this season. Doesn't go back a few years. It goes back to like 98, 99. The Philadelphia Flyers frustrate me more than any team in all sports. Now, I love my Philly sports teams. Even when they stink, I got their back. Even when the Sixers were winning 8 games a year, 7 games a year, 10 games a year, I was getting the NBA package because I believed in what they were doing. But the Flyers, the Philadelphia Flyers, are in a rut. They are in a rut, and they are stuck in the 70s. Now, what do I mean? This is what I mean. They got them in the playoffs playing Pittsburgh. And what do with the national anthem or whatever, God Bless America? They're still playing Kate Smith. I mean, most of the young people don't even know who she was. It has no impact, yet they still put her up every game. The fat lady has sung. She's sung. The fat lady has sung. Damn. You know they say not till the fat lady sung, she sung. Shut her up. You know, and I'm sorry. I'm pissed off because I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of seeing the same thing every year. The Flyers make the same mistakes. Why don't they treat the goaltending position like they do Kate Smith? Okay, she's not the reason the Flyers won the cup. They won because they had Bernie Perrant. You understand? And a good team around him. They had a great team, but they had a goaltender. And they've done the same thing every year in and year out. Now, when Lindros came in, and they brought this Kate Smith song back, and they did it the way they do it now, it was awesome. It was great. There was the rebirth of the Flyers and all that kind of stuff. But that was like 2001. I mean, it's 2018. Flyers, you gotta get over the past. It's time to get over the past. Time to move on. All right? Those days are over. We gotta get back to playing and building a team that can compete today. Okay? Can compete today. And I'm sorry. I love the Flyers, but they frustrate the hell out of me. You know? I watched them when they had Craig Berube, right? And they went and they lost in the first round to the New York Rangers. It was very clear to me then that something needed to change. They needed to rebuild. They needed to fix things. But as the Eagles, they go out and they invest all these picks and they get a franchise-changing quarterback. And they change things over. The Eagles changed the way they did things. Okay? To go out and spend a ton of draft picks on getting a guy like Carson Wentz. Because they understood the importance of the quarterback position. The Sixers understood the importance of getting franchise changers at the top of the draft. And they lost for it, but they rebuilt. And now look at them. The Flyers, they try to play 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Let's rebuild, but let's try to make the playoffs. Let's just, this whole attitude, and it's an old Philly attitude that I used to hear a lot growing up, and it was the reason why we never won, okay, in my opinion. And that is, just get to the playoffs, and if we win, if we get in, we have a chance. And then people live by that motto. They go and they build these teams in Philly by that motto. And it doesn't work. Getting into the playoffs only work if you have the right guys that are capable of doing it. The Flyers don't. The year they went to the Cup in 2010 against Chicago, there was no reason to have goaltending that atrocious. No reason. Right? And then when they get frustrated with the goaltending position, they go out and get Brizgalov. Right? He stinks. I told people, I don't want him. He's over 30 years old. You got to go and invest in a goalie. The Flyers have to get with the times. Now, when I talk about goaltending, I'm not saying run out and sign some veteran or some guy to a lot of money, that kind of thing. What I'm talking about is investing draft picks in a goaltender. Top draft picks in a goaltender. They should have been doing this for years. They haven't. They need to start. Now, I know they got this kid, Carter Hart. I think he just won the WHL MVP or something like that for like 3 straight years. Okay, this kid's supposed to be a stud. He's 19 years old, but they're already talking about giving him a full year with the Phantoms. I say, bring the kid up. Bring him up and let him play. Okay, how come every other team, like the Canadiens, like the Penguins, they always have some 18-year-old rookie phenom in goal come up, yet we got nobody. We got nobody. I'm getting tired of it. Okay, now I know some people are going to say, dude, it's not all about goalie. You don't need a goalie to win a Stanley Cup. I've heard this, right? I've heard this forever. And you don't. You could get a hot goalie. He doesn't have to always be the best. But if you want the best chance to win, get yourself a goalie. You have to have good goaltending, okay? Whether it comes from a stud goalie or if it comes from a veteran, you have to get somebody who plays good enough to win. It doesn't always have to be a goalie, right? It's just like a quarterback in football. You don't always have to have the top tier quarterback, but when you have a quarterback, it makes it a lot easier. When you have a goalie, it makes it a lot easier. The Flyers have been ignoring the goaltending position for 40-something years. 40-something years. I can't take it. Okay? I hear people all the time say, goalies don't matter, goalies don't matter, goalies not the most important. Okay, fine, it's not the most important. But in 40-something years, is it ever? Is it ever? After 40-something years, is it ever important? Just once? Please, get a goalie. Okay? Now, that's not going to solve everything. They got a lot of other problems. They got a lot of other things to take care of. Okay? And we'll get into, I'll tell you, I'll do a video later on what I think the Flyers need to do. But it's time. It's time to get rid of some of the guys that are good players, that are veterans, that are just never going to win a cup with you because you need to bring in and move on with the young guys. So it's time to get value and start making real moves and start to build this thing up right. Also, I'm going to say this, okay? Because, like, growing up in our family, like, I used to argue, me and one of my brothers would argue with my dad and my other brothers on the goaltending position, okay? Because it is my feeling. Flyers have acted like we don't need good goaltending. I mean, there was a point a few years ago where they had literally no young guys, no prospects at the goaltending position in their minors. They had all old journeymen, okay? They don't appreciate goaltending. I don't know why. I don't know why the Flyers don't appreciate goaltending, at least in my opinion. The Flyers have to get with the times. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I know Flyer fans are the hardest to talk to sometimes because they are not willing to talk about anything being different than what they think. Okay? And it's just not the way it is. The Flyers always don't make the right moves. They haven't made a lot of right moves. That's why they're in the position they are in. Okay? This team needs to get over the 70s, get over the Broad Street Bully days, and move on. You know, this is 2018. You know? You got to get a goalie. Got to get the right players. And I think that this team's biggest problem is they're stuck in the past. They're stuck in the past, and they got to get out of it. So I hope the Flyers will do this. I hope they will change. I know people aren't going to agree. I know there are a lot of Flyer fans that may not agree. But I'm sorry. The Flyers haven't won a cup since the 70s. They haven't won a cup since the 70s. They've treated the goaltending position horrendous. They have treated it horrendous. Bernie Parent is a Hall of Fame goalie, and he's the last time you won cups. You're not going to win with an old Hextall, with Robert Esch, with 40-year-old Van Beesbrook. You're not going to win with, you know, Brizgalov, Leighton, you know, Marty Baron. These are not going to win you cups. And no, it's not always the goaltending position, but sometimes it is. You know, 50 years, one time, two times in 50-something years, it is the time to address goalie. Please address it. Please get out of the past, and let's go win some Stanley Cups, because there's nothing like Philadelphia when the Flyers are in the playoffs. There's nothing like NHL playoffs. There's just not. It's the best. It's the best. But the Flyers, they used to be the second team in that city for a long time. People don't even want to watch anymore because they're boring. And that's the truth. So I hope the Flyers wake the hell up and get things going. But I'm sorry, I had to get this off my chest. This is built up for a long time. And after this playoff series, I had to get it out. So with that said, Flyers, wake up and let's get going. Take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.